Boker Tov, good morning. We continue with our 3-minute daily dose of Torah. I wanted to focus in a little bit more on the strategy of this man Korach, which is where our focus is in our this week's Torah reading, and really looking at the words of the Ramban. I think I mentioned earlier this week it's not clear when in fact these events take place. The Ibn Ezra contends that this story of Korach happens much earlier. It happens before the discussion of the Meraglim and the spies. It was last week's Torah portion, but the Ramban insists that its placement here is where it happens, both from his readiness to accept that the Torah can be written out of order, but you need a good reason to do so and some indication to do so, and because he has understanding of this person in front of him. And says the Ramban that Korach has been eating away at Korach, his enviousness of Moshe's roles and others that have been filled by Aaron as well. And he's this very strategic person, though, as he reads the lay of the land and whether or not there's any energy that could be harnessed against Moshe. And prior to this, says Ramban, things have been really good for the Jewish people and for Moshe's role in leading them. Look at what Moshe did, he says Ramban. He spent 40 days up on Har Sinai praying for Am Yisrael, for God to forgive them for the golden calf, and other roles that he plays as well. In the end, seeking to protect them. And so he's a very popular figure. But everything turns after the decree that God makes at the story of the Meraglim, and suddenly people are despondent. And Moshe did not succeed in his tefillot to convince God to forgive them and let them head straight to Eretz Yisrael. Moshe read God's energy and knew that God was not ready to do so, and all he could do was bring about arichut apayim, that God would lengthen his, be slower to anger, but he could not produce what the people would have wanted, which is forgiveness. It's at that moment that Korach strikes. He recognizes that there's no longer that full-hearted embrace of Moshe. Not that he really can blame him, but he no longer has he's high on the 97% popularity list. He's down at a different number, And it's at that moment that Korach says, I'm going to lead this rebellion. He is a strategic person indeed. And we know how things work in the world of leadership and popularity and the energy of a people. And we see this in this very day, how people will bide their time and wait for a moment of weakness when they can go after the person that they want to go after. That is the lesson that we learn already in Korach, and how things can turn terribly wrong. Baruch Hashem, in the story of Korach, Moshe is able to fend off this really unpleasant act on his part and continue to lead the Jewish people for 40 years in the desert. Have a great day.